Jake stared at his phone again. 2 weeks since she left. No closure, no explanation, just silence. He thought, if she just told me why, maybe I could breathe again. But that message never came. And that's when he realized peace isn't something you wait for. It's something you build. Most men think closure is a gift someone gives you. But Stoicism teaches this truth. You don't need closure. You need clarity. And clarity comes from within. Closure is a myth. That's the hard truth. Most men don't want to hear. You think that one last conversation will bring peace. That if she explained why she left, or your boss admitted they were wrong, or your friend apologized the way you needed, then the weight in your chest would disappear. But it won't. Because closure doesn't come from others. It comes from you. And the more you chase it, the more you bleed power. You wait for a message. That never comes. You check your phone, replaying what you said. You write drafts. You never send. You rehearse arguments in your head. And through all of it, you pause your life. For what? For someone else? To validate your pain? For them? To give you permission to move on? That's not strength. That's dependency, disguised as longing. And Stoicism teaches you to break that pattern. It teaches you to stop begging for peace and start building it internally, deliberately, without needing anyone else to cooperate. When you stop chasing closure, you start reclaiming control. You stop leaking energy into people who've already shown you who they are. You stop hoping for a better past. You stop giving the keys of your healing to someone else's actions. You realize peace doesn't require an explanation. It requires acceptance. And acceptance isn't giving up. It's leveling up. It's looking life in the eye and saying, I didn't get what I wanted, but I'm not waiting to heal anymore. The Stoic doesn't chase understanding. He chooses understanding of himself, of his triggers, of his expectations. He takes full responsibility for his internal state. That's the first principle. Control what you can. Let go of the rest. And what you can control is your focus, your routine, your values, your breath, your energy. Every time your mind drifts into what ifs and why did say as, you redirect it back to your path. Not because you're ignoring the pain, but because you've chosen to alchemize it. Rejection, betrayal, abandonment. These are not invitations to spiral. They are signals that it's time to return inward, that it's time to stop outsourcing your emotional safety, that it's time to lead yourself, because closure is just a desire to understand the past. So you can stop feeling stuck, but the Stoic understands something deeper. Not everything needs to be understood to be released. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say is not, why did this happen to me? But, what will I do with this now? You do not need their apology. You do not need their confession. You do not need their awareness. You need your decision. The decision to cut the cord, to stop reopening the wound, to stop reattaching meaning to a chapter that's already closed. Meet Elijah. At 33, he had everything on the outside. A good job, solid income, respect from peers, but after a 5-year relationship ended without a goodbye, he was a wreck. He wrote unsent letters, stalked her Instagram, replayed conversations for hours. One day, a mentor told him, "You're not hurting because she left. You're hurting because you're still waiting for her to make you whole again." That hit deep. Elijah started waking up at 5 a.m., journaling, cold showers, gym. Every time he wanted to text her, he trained instead. 3 months later, he didn't just get over her. He outgrew the version of himself who needed her to explain. That's Stoic control, not emotional suppression, but emotional transformation. You do that through practice, daily, quietly. Stoic control isn't built in one breakthrough. It's built in thousands of small shifts. When you feel the urge to reach out, and don't. When you feel the anger rise, and breathe instead. When you want to explain yourself and choose silence. And slowly, the emotions stop hijacking you. Slowly, you stop needing to be seen, or understood, or validated by the ones who didn't value you. Slowly, you stop chasing closure because you've built inner clarity. That clarity is your compass. It's your anchor. It reminds you who you are and where you're going. Regardless of what happened, that's real power. That's the freedom Stoicism gives you. Now imagine moving through life with that control. Someone ghosts you. You don't spiral. You observe. Someone lies to you. You don't rage. You adjust. Someone disrespects you. You don't chase confrontation. You enforce boundaries. That's what being untouchable looks like. Not emotionless, just emotionally led by values, not by wounds. You can love deeply and still detach when it's time. You can care fully and still walk away with peace. You can grieve what was and still build what's next. But none of that happens while you're waiting for closure, because waiting keeps you stuck. Waiting gives them the power. Waiting makes your healing conditional. The Stoic never waits. He builds. He builds structure through routine, morning silence, cold exposure, strength training, purposeful work. He redirects emotional energy into productive action, not to escape the pain, but to create something stronger with it. He builds perspective through journaling, reflection, mentorship. He asks better questions, not why did they do this, but what part of me tolerated it? Not what was their intention, but where did I abandon myself? He turns heartbreak into information, not just inspiration, transformation. He builds presence through breath, through nature, through saying no to noise, because presence is the antidote to rumination. You can't be here if you're living in a memory. So he learns to let go, not by forgetting, but by choosing what's next, with more power. And eventually, he no longer needs closure. He becomes it. His character becomes the proof. His evolution becomes the answer. His peace becomes the revenge, not in a petty way. In a principled way. He doesn't send long texts. He doesn't chase conversations. He doesn't re-explain his worth. He sharpens, he trains, he builds, he leads. And those who left, who lied, who broke him, they fade, not because they were erased, but because he outgrew the pain, because he stopped watering the wound, because he found something deeper, a peace, through ownership. That's what Stoic control gives you. The power to stop chasing and start choosing. The clarity to stop begging and start building. The presence to stop spinning and start moving. Closure is a door. You close from the inside. Every time you say, I'm done waiting, I'm done replaying, I'm done outsourcing my power. That's a door closed. That's a chapter ended. That's a man sartsongameng. Let it close. Let it burn. Let it teach. Then move forward, focused, free. If you've ever waited for closure, that never came. This is your turning point. Comment. I closed it from within. Let's flood the algorithm with proof that men don't need to beg for peace. We build it. Share this video with one man still stuck in the cycle of overthinking, checking his phone, waiting for a message. That's never coming. We're building a tribe here, not of emotionally broken men, but of Stoic builders, warriors of calm, kings of self-command. This is Stoic Reign, your home for unshakable growth. If you're ready to lead yourself again, you're already one of us.